Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes, and I am honored to be able to bring to you information to put in your toolbox to help you as an individual be more empowered when it comes to your health journey. That's what Daily with Doc is all about, is providing information to you about what we can do as individuals. So I hope that my audio settings are set properly. And as we are going through looking at what it is that we can do as individuals, let's keep in mind there's a thing called epigenetics. Epigenetics is the science that proves the theory of disease transmission that is said is genetic is incorrect. So if you have been told that you have a genetic condition because other people in your family, and even if other people in your family don't have this poor health condition, and they're telling you that it's genetic, chances are that it's absolutely incorrect. And I am going to bring to the screen with me Dr. Joel Wallach, who is one of the founding fathers of the science of epigenetics. And as you can see, he is holding up a book. That is him on the front cover. Can't really see it, but he's holding a baby monkey. And this is part of his research in a time in his life where he was discovering diseases that were said to be genetic and human genetic diseases that ended up not being so. So Dr. Wallach is just a pioneer when it comes to the power of nutrition and what it can do in our lives. Now, for those of you who are joining us for the first time or the second time or the third time, if somebody shared this program with you, I hope you sure remember who that is, because that person thought enough about you, cared enough about you to share this program with you, because they know deep in their heart that you're going to find something that is going to help you on this thing we call a health journey. Get back with them. Tell them thank you for taking the time to share this program with you. And if you have any questions, they're going to be your point of contact to get answers from. If they don't have an answer, they have resources to help them find answers. Now, if you found this program all on your own and you would like to get in touch with a certified holistic health coach, you are not on this journey alone. We are here to help you as an individual find what is going to be a best fit for you based on you as an individual. So we've been trained by an amazing team that includes Dr. Wallach on Dr. Wallach's research how the 4 areas of health are affected by nutritional deficiencies, which we're going to be talking specifically about one today, and solutions. Folks, we're surrounded by a world that dwells on problems. Well, we don't just dwell on a problem. We see a problem, we find a solution, and the solutions that we are offering to you through this program are solutions that are helping thousands and thousands and thousands, and maybe even hundreds of thousands around the world each and every day. They're solutions that are proven. Now, this program is meant for educational purposes only. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor are the products meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. But folks, we have a divine creation within our bodies. When we take care of this creation, this temple, it can do some amazing things when given the right ingredients. And that is what I absolutely love about the programs that we are offering to you today, offered and put together by the man who started this crusade, Dr. Joel Wallach. Now, Dr. Wallach started as a young child trying to figure himself out. He did not want to be locked up. He did not want to be considered a crazy kid. He was looking around and saw that the animals that he was in charge of taking care of didn't have these conditions. So he decided as a child to take it upon himself to start eating what they're eating, not what the others were eating. And lo and behold, because of what was built in to those animal pellets, or that what he was feeding his animals, he was able to let go of those health conditions that were basically plaguing him. And that was just the beginning. He went on to go into college after being able to successfully participate in team sports. Went into college, got a Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences rather, sorry. He worked his way through college in the pathology lab, where he actually was able to do a study on 500 lambs that had died instantly overnight. And he found the cause and also how to prevent that. So folks, that's just the beginning of what this amazing doctor has done. He has 3 postdoctorates in pathology with some major researches, expeditions, let's use that word, that he has been sent on, some of them by the the National Institute of Health, to find the causes, the preventions of things going around the world, including to save the white rhino that was facing extinction in South Africa. His conservation work that he did there, and making sure that the nutrients were within the soils of the areas that they were grazing, so that they had better yields whenever it came to reproducing. And that's only a part of it. After that, he went on and he was working in the zoos, where he found the cause of liver cancer in the bears around the zoos. Now, folks, if it was genetic and you're looking at bears of different species that have never even met each other and never even seen each other, not for decades and decades and generations, how could it be genetic? Well, he proved that it was not genetic, and many other things he has proven that are not genetic, which is what has led to the science of epigenetics. Now, he also did a study on 1,700 children who had died overnight in Qishan, China, where they had called it Qishan disease. He found that, again, it was not genetic, but nutritional deficiencies. He went on to become a naturopathic physician, and he is here with us after decades and decades of helping people. He continues to do so. Dr. Joel Wallach, welcome to Daily with Doc.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for the kind introduction. And yeah, it's what should I say? It's been so exciting over the 75 years I've been working on this, and it's getting more exciting every minute. And we have so many things going on. The tools are coming in like crazy. One of my favorite tools, of course, is Dead Doctors Don't Lie, the book. And there is, most people don't realize it, but there is a DVD. It's 2 hours and 9 minutes long. It's lecture after lecture after lecture. And on the back, it talks about 30 different diseases that I cover in this DVD. Okay. It's called, make sure I get it correct here. Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Someone Should Go to Jail. Health, Lies, and Medicine. Okay. And a health presentation by Dr. Joel Wallach. I've got a picture of the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the cover here. And so this followed the presentation of the book. Okay. And so this, which I say, this is an enormous, it's like a college education in 2 hours and 9 minutes, okay, on about 25 different diseases. So I hope everybody gets this. We have about 1,000 of them left. As soon as we get down to about 25, we'll order some more. And it's one of those things where I really haven't talked about them much over the years, but this particular tool can help you help your community, your church family, your neighbors, your workmates. And just remember, there are no genetic diseases. If your doctor or their doctor said the problem they have is a genetic disease, you need to seek out another, because the doctor doesn't know what's going on. So they're going to blame it on you. So they don't have to take the blame for it, for not knowing. This will give you a college education in 2 hours and 8 minutes.
All right. Well, and that is a great resource, folks, especially for those that want to see Dr. Wallach in his prime when he was up on stage doing just a fabulous job around the world. He actually was traveling 300 days a year, giving presentations around the world. This is a recording of one of those presentations that is just absolutely fantastic. You want to get your hands on this program, you can give Wellness Publications a call at, what's the number, Doc? 800
755-4656, 1-800-755-4656. And if somebody doesn't answer, that means they're busy. So just leave your name and phone number and they'll call you back. And this is one of those things where medical doctors do not get taught this information in school. That's what freaked me out. That's what shocked me. A thing that injures, infects, disables, and kills so many human beings, medical doctors do not get taught this in school in any way, shape, or form. So we had to take on responsibility and make sure that everybody on earth, every living human being, got the information available to them so they could save themselves, save their families, save their communities, and help contribute to saving humanity. So thank you for bringing it up, Rebecca.
Oh, absolutely, Dr. Wallach. So I'm actually at a training right now that has some doctors, and one of the doctors, Dr. Wallach, he said when he got wind of Dead Doctors Don't Lie, somebody had shared it with him, and he listened to that. He was blown away. He said, I didn't learn any of this in medical school. And now he's implementing your programs into his practice, and his patients are getting better and better. So, Dr. Wallach, we are really starting to get into the medical family fields more and more. And folks, if you are part of just have a role in your communities that helps to serve in the field of medicine, whether it's alternative medicine, whether it's traditional medicine, Chinese medicine, does not matter. Nutrition will make your business thrive even more. And the way that Dr. Wallach has set this up it has made it so that you get a thank you check for helping others. I mean, what's not that we go for, any type of monetary gain because we want to do good and help people, but what can we use that thank you check to do? Help even more people. So get back with the person that shared this program with you. If you're an individual and you're in a community that you want to help, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If you're a pastor and you want to help your congregation become healthier and healthier, you're in the right place. Whether you're watching us live or watching a replay, the time is now to get started in helping others. Now, this program is being live streamed on many different platforms. If you're watching on one of the live streams, make sure that you follow our channel and share this program with somebody you know and love. Check out our others, but share at least one with one person. If you go through and you're listening and you think of 5 people just with one presentation, share it with all 5. Right click, copy the link, and send it to them in a text message. Just super easy. That's all it takes to help change a life. Now, Dr. Wallach, I've had several questions come in. You've done a case study, and it's happened more than once where you've gotten positive results on the symptoms that are present with the condition called Parkinson's. Now, they say it's genetic, Doc. Is it genetic?
No, not at all. Not genetic. It's very simple nutritional deficiencies. And of course, for over 100 years, the United States has had 60,000 new cases of Parkinson's disease each year. 60,000 cases, new cases each year for 100 years until last year. It went up 50% to 90,000 cases per year. Okay, that's because doctors made it worse by getting rid of the raw materials necessary to make the myelin and the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. Okay, they thought that was bad, but it makes up 85% of your brain. So doctors are responsible. Doctors are responsible for the rate of Parkinson's disease to go up by 50% in the last year because they cut out the nutrition necessary for your brain and spinal cord to make the myelin. Makes up 85% of your brain weight and your spinal cord weight. And doctors think this raw material that it takes to maintain your brain and spinal cord was bad because it's found in many tissues. You say, well, that shouldn't be there. And so they give you a pill to get you to eliminate or get rid of the substance that they think is bad, but it makes up 85% of your brain weight and 85% of your spinal cord weight. Oh, also, it makes up about 85% of your sex hormones. This is why all these babies, little girls think they're boys, little boys think they're girls. It's because of all these crazy things that doctors are doing, okay, because they've got it all wrong. They're going down the wrong path and they're getting a terrible result.
So, Dr. Wallach, your approach, the 90 essential nutrients.
That's correct.
60 of those are minerals.
That is correct.
And I don't think people understand that in order for the body to be able to use minerals, it takes multiple minerals working together. And for the body to be able to use vitamins properly, it takes minerals to work together. It's not just take one for this or one for that. It's feeding the whole body what it needs.
That is correct.
So, Dr. Wallach, you were talking about, cholesterol, preventing cholesterol. The cholesterol that we don't want is the stuff that's been heated and fried, right?
Fried, yeah. You can kind of warm it up, okay? But you want your meat medium rare. You don't want your meat well done. You don't want your chicken fried. You do not want your chicken fried because if you eat fried chicken, all that fat in the chicken turns into something bad. but the fat in the chicken, if it's just roasted or boiled, is okay. In fact, it's very usable, very, very useful.
Now let's talk about some of the symptoms of Parkinson's. Okay. There's a shake. I think what that shake is the one that
Tremors.
the tremors. A lot of people are having problems with being able to have proper balance in addition to the tremors.
And
What are some others?
yeah, and the lifespan of somebody with Parkinson's disease after diagnosis is somewhere between 7 and 15 years. Okay. They don't live very long after they're diagnosed. It's a progressive thing because they haven't changed their dietary habits and they haven't changed their supplement habits. So it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. The doctors try to treat the symptoms because they get taught in medical school that it's a genetic thing. Well, everybody in my family's got Parkinson's. Well, that's because it's not genetic. It's because they're all eating wrong things and cooking improperly and so forth. They're all using grandma's recipes. And that's why everybody's got it. It's not a genetic thing. Parkinson's disease is a simple nutritional deficiency disease. And we get the symptoms to decrease in days and weeks after getting them off all the bad foods, getting them on all the good foods and supplements. And then usually in less than 3 months, that's why I always say, give me 90 days. In less than 3 months, most of the people with Parkinson's disease goes away. Okay. And they'll add 25 to 50 years to their life. This is very simple. And again, this is where you need to get a hold of the
DVD set.
It's a DVD. It's a DVD. Okay. It's 2 hours and 9 minutes. And it's one of those things that'll blow your mind how much we know and how much disease we can prevent, how much disease we can reverse with nutrition. But doctors want to use drugs. And of course, people are happy to use drugs because they have health insurance. Now, health insurance came about at the turn of the century. Before that, there was no health insurance. And doctors would milk the cow by charging you and charging you and charging you and charging you. So finally somebody said, well, let's get some insurance here and let the insurance company pay for this stuff. Okay. And that's how that happened. And it's one of those things where it's, if you get in a car wreck and you get multiple fractures and all that kind of stuff, it's a good thing that you have health insurance. Okay. And this is where the medical profession really shine. Trauma, whether it's a military, whether it's a highway accident or somebody's in construction and falls off the ladder, kid falls off their bike and breaks their leg or their shoulder. All these things are easily dealt with both cast and all kinds of surgeries, whatever is necessary. And doctors really shine in that area. When it comes to things like Parkinson's disease, they get it all wrong. And you have to remember, emergency room doctors in America live to be 55.7. They live to be 55 years and 7 months. Now,
I'm almost that, Doc.
Now
I'm not ready to go.
That's medical doctors. Okay. Now, also, medical doctors don't do well when it comes to longevity. Medical doctors in America, white medical doctors, live to be 75.7, something like that. And the black medical doctors live to be 65. And these people, the Hunzas, that don't have one single medical doctor in their villages in the Himalayan mountains, their average lifespan is 122. Is that a genetic thing? No. But they're living in the land flowing with milk and honey. They're getting all these minerals coming down out of the mountains. And of course, it's in the streams and it looks like milk. The white powder, because the rocks being ground up at the top of the mountains by glaciers, that white powder that resulted got into the streams coming down the side of the mountains. And from, half a mile away, 2 miles away, you see this white stream coming down the side of the mountain. It looked like milk. So it's in the Old Testament. It's in the Bible. 2,000 years ago, it talked about the white milk, the land flowing with milk and honey. So why was honey in that? Because all these minerals coming down the side of the mountains okay, irrigating the valleys and the fields. All these flowers are there. So there's more flowers, more bees, more honey. And so the land flowing with milk and honey, always because of these minerals coming down the side of the mountains. Now you have to appreciate there's some of the, I call it glacial milk, okay? There's some of this glacial milk that only have 3 minerals because that's how many minerals are in the rocks at the top of certain mountains. Some have 10 minerals, some have 25, some have 50, and so on. You need at least 75 minerals, and you got to be the right ones, okay, to get maximum benefit. And all this is in the DVD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. It's in the book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. That's why it's a bestseller. The metabolic syndrome was in the Bible, the old Bible, 2,000 years ago. Metabolic syndrome, it wasn't called that, but it described the abdominal obesity, type 2 diabetes, and hypertension, okay? And then it's all in your head, okay? There it is, it's all in your head. There's over 50 different diseases you can get, more than that, maybe closer to 60 different diseases you can get. You have osteoporosis of the skull. My favorite picture, of course, and I show this probably, it bores people, but to me, it's my favorite picture. On page 6 of the book, It's All in Your Head. Okay. They take the top of the skull off at autopsy, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And they look down in the brain, and the skull is a 1/4 inch thick. That's normal. All 12 pairs of cranial nerves can get through the tubes. The spinal cord can get through the back of the skull. The bottom one is a skull from somebody who had osteoporosis of the skull. They took the top of the skull off. They're looking down in the brain. You can see the skull is 1.5 to 2 inches thick, and it shuts down those tunnels that those 12 pairs of cranial nerves go through, and also where the spinal cord goes through the back of the skull, and creates these 50 different diseases. And doctors want to do surgery. They want to do 25 different drugs, okay, to deal with these situations. And of course, there's a chapter for each one of these cranial nerves. And it shows a picture here of the brain, shows the 12 pairs of cranial nerves coming out, and what parts of the body are impacted when you have osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing those nerves. And then on the other page, there's 12 chapters that go along, okay, 1 chapter for each of those cranial nerves. And then for the spinal cord, we have the, what? It's very simple, okay? Oh, it's the information is all in a CD. There we go, it's in a CD. And so here's a set. You buy the book and the CD at the same time, get a nice little project. That'll get rid of 50 different diseases that are caused by osteoporosis of the skull. Don't let doctors do surgery. Don't let them do radiation. Don't let them put you on 18 different prescription drugs, because that's how they send their kid to college.
So many of the conditions that are associated with Parkinson's are because of osteoporosis of the skull. That's what you're saying, right, Doc?
Well, there's a mixture there between osteoporosis of the skull, but the main part of Parkinson's is a loss of the myelin in the brain and spinal cord. The loss of the myelin and the brain and spinal cord. And then if you have osteoporosis at the same time, you really have a problem. You have Parkinson's plus all of.
Well, and I know from studying with you, Dr. Wallach, some of the non-motor skill symptoms, like loss of smell.
Oh yeah.
Extra salivation, having pain or cramps in your muscles and joints.
Yeah,
blood pressure changes.
You lose your sense of taste. All that goes away when you have osteoporosis of the skull.
And how about dizziness, Dr. Wallach?
Well, vision, when the skull squeezes the optic nerve, you can lose your vision gradually. Okay, you can get cataracts, you get cornea, corneal problems. You get the inside of the eye begins to slowly go away because it's not getting any nutrition, because the skull is squeezing the nerves going from the brain into the eye through the optic nerve. Okay, the eye also sends information back so you can see, okay, and interpret things whether still or moving. Okay, through the optic nerve. And then the optic nerve tells the eye what to do. Turn right, turn left, go up, go down. This is all controlled. But if you lose the capacity to utilize all that because your white matter of your brain's going away, doctors want to do surgery, they want to do radiation, they want to do all these drugs, and really it's just a nutritional deficiency.
Okay, so how about a change in the voice? A low voice, soft voice, would that be
Oh yeah,
because of nerves?
absolutely. That deals with the cranial nerves that deal with the throat and the vocal cords and the tongue and all that kind of stuff. We're talking about the 7th and the 8th cranial nerves, the trigeminal nerve, so forth, all contribute to these problems when they're being squeezed or starved.
And we talked about in the beginning the tremors or the voluntary movements of the limbs, whether
Okay,
it's your
that's
hands,
what you
your
get, that's
arms.
what you get the diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's was a guy many years ago, okay, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, who described these tremors in certain people. Well, they weren't getting the raw materials to make the brain work properly and maintain itself properly, which then showed up with all these problems. Okay. And so since it occurred in whole families, well, it's a genetic thing because it's in the whole family. Well, no, it's in the whole family because everybody's eating grandma's recipe.
Right.
And they didn't live in the land flowing with milk and honey. Even if she had the same recipe as her twin sister, who was, say, 100 miles away, feeding the same food to their family 100 miles away, had no problems. Why? Because they lived in the land flowing with milk and honey. And the one that had all the problems was using the same recipe, but they weren't getting the nutrients because they didn't live in the land flowing with milk and honey.
Well, in that land flowing with milk and honey, I want to just kind of do a little bit of clarification on that. Minerals do not occur in a solid blanket around the world. They're in veins, like Dr. Wallach says, like gold and silver. I like chocolate ripple ice cream. I like that analogy better. But the water that's flowing is coming from areas, and hopefully it's coming from areas like the mountains where there are more minerals that are flowing downstream.
But
And not all.
you have to appreciate that all glacial milk coming down the sides of the mountains are not the same. Some have 3 minerals because that's the only minerals are in the mountain. And then some have 5 minerals, some have 20 minerals, some have 50 minerals, some have 75 minerals. And so it depends on how many minerals are in that mountain, will be how many minerals are in the glacial milk, the land flowing with milk and honey.
And the greater the mineral deficiency, the more symptoms you have, right, Doc?
That's correct. And you can have 2 deficiencies, you can have 25 deficiencies, you can have 40 deficiencies. And this is why these doctors, at night who are working the late shifts, okay, emergency room doctors at night, they're living on fast foods and coffee and that kind of soft drinks and bubblies and all that kind of stuff. They're doing everything wrong. That's why their lifespan is only 55.7.
Well, Dr. Wallach, we're here to help people know what to do right, and we do have some hands up. So I want to make sure that we do get to the hands that are up and their questions. We have lots of questions that are coming in through the different chats. So if you're on YouTube, Rumble, any place that you can, or Facebook, where you can leave a comment, we do have parts of our team watching for those comments so that we can get questions answered there during the show. And also, here in the Zoom room. So as you're submitting questions, it's coming to one of our co-hosts. They're sharing that information with me, and we are here to get answers to you. So again, if you were invited by somebody specific and you want to get on a program that Dr. Wallach is recommending, one, make sure that you do have that chat open, because Marilyn, one of our co-hosts, has this amazing gift of being able to do transcription where she's typing what Dr. Wallach is recommending into the chat so that you can then take a screenshot or a picture of it, take it to the person that shared this program with you, and they will help you get on the right products based on what Dr. Wallach has recommended for you. All right. Again, if nobody has sent in or nobody sent you here and you found us all on your own, feel free to give us a call at 855-949-3377, and one of our certified holistic health coaches will be able to help you. Again, that's 855-949-3377. And if we do not get to your question, you can email them in at questions@dailywithdoc.com. Now, this program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com, where you will find articles and also replays of past presentations on our website. There is also an opportunity to sign up for our email list so that you get a notification of when we are going live, which also includes information about past programming so that you can plug in and do searches through your email when you're looking for specific topics. There is also a store there, and as we're going through, Dr. Wallach is going to be recommending good foods, bad foods list, and he rolls through that list pretty fast, but you will find that whole list on our website at dailywithdoc.com. Just look right there in the menu, and it says Dr. Wallach's good foods, bad foods list. Dr. Wallach, you don't have to hold your hand up. What's next?
Okay, I didn't want to rudely interrupt you. I just wanted you to see that I wanted to add something here. We want to make sure that people know that we have a product. We created and invented a product to rebuild the myelin in the brain and spinal cord, because I didn't mention that earlier, I don't think. Okay, that's the I-26, and we have chewables, we have capsules, we have powder. I like the chewables. I take the French vanilla chewables. They also come in what?
Banana coconut.
Banana coconut. That's one of our favorites. People buy that one for their kids and their mamas and dads. Okay. Banana coconut. But we also have the capsules. We also have the powder that you can stir in. It comes in a canister, so you can stir that into your drinks. And the I-26 gives the skull all the raw materials it needs to make.
That's the coating on the brain that it's the raw materials for, right?
That's right. It gives the brain what it needs to make the myelin, the white matter in the brain and the spinal cord. Plus, it helps you make all your sex hormones. That's two good things. One at the top, one at the bottom, right?
There you go. There you go. So,
this is so important. The I-26. I take 3 of those chewables twice a day. Okay. And it's one of those things where you have to be really, really, really careful not to get so busy you forget to take them, because you don't want to wind up with Parkinson's disease and you get scared and you run to the doctor and they give you all these drugs and then a couple of years later you're dead.
Right. So, Dr. Wallach, we have somebody that has Parkinson's. We want to give them a protocol. If that person is 150 pounds, what would be your full ultimate recommendation for them as far as nutrition goes to help their bodies be able to work to become healthier?
Okay. Well, we have both males and females. And so everybody, both males and females, need the 90 essential nutrients to help the brain and heart pack, full dose, half a dose at breakfast, half a dose at dinner time for each 100 pounds for both males and females. They also need the Xerafem for girls and Xeratest for boys, because they're also made out of the same raw materials that are necessary for the white matter of your brain. So if you have one going bad at the bottom, it's also going bad at the top. And so, okay. And so you really want to pay attention. And so the 150 pounds, they need, in addition to everything we've just said, they also need, remember, Xeratest for guys and Xerafem for girls. I take 2 or 3 of those tablets twice a day. I'm 85 years old and want to keep going. So at 150 pounds, we also want to take, when it comes to the I-26, again, we have the flip chart, okay, page 26, 27, 28, and 29, 30. Those are all really good ones, okay? And it helps you understand what you're doing. But you want to take the I-26, take at least 2 or 3 of those twice a day, okay? 150 pounds, right?
Yes,
157 pounds, 158 pounds, whatever it is.
150.
150, okay? They need to be taking 2 or 3 doses. If they already have Parkinson's disease, they need to be taking 2 or 3 doses of the I-26 a day in addition to all the other supplements we talked about. They need to be eating 3 eggs twice a day, soft boiled in butter, not margarine. They can be poached, okay? But they need to be, if they're going to soft boil them, soft scramble them in butter, not margarine. And so it's one of those things where we see people who had Parkinson's disease for 10, 15, 20 years, and in 4 or 5 days are seeing benefit. In a couple of weeks, they're seeing a lot of benefit. In a month, it's all gone. 2 months, it's all gone. And on this page 27 of this flip chart, okay, 90 for Life Crusade to Save Humanity in the World, on page 27, it has a story of Madeline O. The last name begins with an O. We just put O period because if we put her whole last name, she'd have 1,000 people on her front lawn every day. And basically, she was going downhill very rapidly over a period of 9, 10, 11 years. She's going to a neurologist and a very famous medical school, okay, on the East Coast, and getting worse, worse, worse. And they told, her family that the end was about here. Well, one of her relatives, who are a member of Longevity, got a hold of us, okay, and what we told them was to make sure she gets all these things, and they did, and they gave her a couple of doses a day, the I-26 and all the 90 essential nutrients and all this and the other, and in 3 months she was perfectly normal at age, I think, 11 years.
So,
No?
so,
10
so
or 11.
that is, yeah, I remember that story. That is fantastic. Do I look like Becca?
Say again?
I said, do I look like Becca? Because I just switched the screen. Becca's internet is having a little difficulty, so I'm going to help us out here. And so what do you think about Ultimate Daily Classic? We add Ultimate Daily Classic to that protocol as well?
Oh, absolutely. Ultimate Daily Classic, of course, it's one of those things where, what should I say? You want to make sure that all the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the sex tissue, the liver, lungs, get everything they need from every direction. Drugs will relieve symptoms. And for thousands of years, doctors and herbalists have been using drugs and herbs and things like that to reduce symptoms. They didn't know the causes of diseases 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. But they knew that these herbs would reduce the symptoms. They knew that these ground up rocks over here look like this would reduce symptoms. And so that's how medicine got started, was reducing symptoms. They did 400 years ago with the colloidal silver, get rid of all kinds of terrible pandemics, okay, and epidemics with colloidal silver. And so this is why we have colloidal silver. I take 2 droppers full under my tongue, one on one side, one on the other side, under my tongue, 10 minutes before breakfast, 10 minutes for lunch, and 10 minutes for dinner time, 10 minutes for bed. I've been doing that for over 40 years. And so that's why I can go to a meeting with 100 or 500 or 1,000 people, and they're all coughing and hacking. And I don't come down with any of these diseases because I'm taking the colloidal silver to kill, or colloidal silver kills all viruses, all bacteria, all fungus, all yeast. Penicillin only kills 2 bacteria, nothing else. So which one do you want? You want something that kills all bugs or just 2 bugs?
I want the one you suggest, Doc. So we have some questions. We're going to start with Ruth Ellen. Hopefully she can go rapid fire on some of the questions that came in today. Ruth Ellen, what questions are you bringing to Daily with Doc?
Well, I've been getting a lot of questions in the chat. So let me start at the beginning here. I have Flyboy 44. He says, Dr. Wallach, do you have advice on how to help with neuropathy? And I don't have any information regarding weight, sex, or any of that.
Okay, well, neuropathy can be caused by many things. Anything that puts pressure on a nerve, okay, can cause weird symptoms or cause everything to go dead by squeezing a nerve. This is called neuropathy, okay? And so again, this is where you have to get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, butter, iron, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. The diamond's got to go. And then you need to take the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 minerals, 3 fatty acids. And we have the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. It started out as a Healthy Start Pack, and then we made it into the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack for Theo Ratliff and got him back in basketball. He made over $130 million in 9 years on contracts after we fixed him, after he was kicked out of basketball because of his joints and his hips and his knees and so forth. Made $130 million in 9 years. That's pretty good for a
Yes,
comeback.
it is. Yes, it is. It
And
is.
so it's one of those things where this is what you got to do. You got to get rid of all the bad stuff. And then don't forget the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Don't forget the, which you want to be sure of using the colloidal silver in case there's an infection in there. You want to make sure you're using the everything that has to do with myelin, the white matter of the brain. And we're talking about the what would you do for myelin?
I-26.
What?
I-26.
There you go. You get an A+, I-26.
Thank you.
Again, it comes in chewables, it comes in capsules, it comes in powder. And just be sure that you're eating properly and taking all your 90 essential nutrients. I've been doing this for 75 years. And, again, I'm using the Chinese method of aging. I'm 85. The Chinese give you credit for your 9 months of pregnancy. So when you're born, you're already 9 months old in China.
Right.
And when you ask somebody, how old are you? Well, I was born they go by their birth date. They forget it took 9 months to get there. Okay.
Right.
And if you're not taking all your nutrients, that's going to be a terrible, terrible event when you get born and you have all these problems. Your little
Right.
boys think you're girls, your little girls think you're boys. You have all kinds of birth defects, physical and biochemical birth defects, because mama wasn't eating all the proper things and supplementing properly during pregnancy.
Right.
It's all preventable. Okay. And I learned this as a kid on the farm. I said, well, why are we giving them all this stuff and we're not getting all this stuff? And it was very obvious that what was going on there.
Okay, so my next question is from Don Mahaney, and he would like to know what is wrong with peanuts.
I'm sorry, what is wrong with what?
Peanuts. Why
Oh,
do you say they're on the bad food list?
Okay, what's wrong with peanuts?
Yes.
All right. We have to appreciate that I did a 10-year study when I was going through school in Missouri. I did a 10-year study with Washington University, pathology study, autopsies on animals and people. And I was learning that in every zoo in the world, the bears were getting liver cancer.
Right.
It didn't matter. Black bear, white bears, sun bears, grizzly bears, polar bears, all the bears are getting liver cancer. What's going on here? I asked people and they said, well, we don't know. They're susceptible to it. Oh, okay. Well, it turns out that they were selling peanuts. All these zoos were selling peanuts at the front gate to make money so they could run their operation. And people are throwing the peanuts to the bears. The bears learned to stand up and wave their arms, and the people would rush there and make the bears stand up and throw the peanuts to them. And in a couple of years' time, they would die of liver cancer. Well, it turns out that peanuts grow in the ground. and they're contaminated by a fungus that produces a substance that causes liver cancer. And so why do you think that people who are beer drinkers every Friday and Saturday night in the bars, why do you think they get liver cancer? Is it genetic?
They're eating peanuts that
They're
are
eating
supplied by the
peanuts.
bar.
The bar is giving them the peanuts, and they're getting liver cancer also. That's why people get liver cancer who are beer drinkers in the bars. And I'm the guy that figured all that out.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
So grateful for you. Thank you. All right. So the next
That
question.
answered that question.
Yes, thank you so much. You did a great job. That was perfect. So Sally Cobb asks, my 40-year-old son is losing hearing in his right ear only. His left ear is fine. He had an MRI, but nothing showed up. What are your thoughts? And
How
I
old
don't
is
have any weight or anything like that. So we'll go by
How old is
100 pounds.
How old is he?
40 years old.
You know how much he weighs?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's say an average guy, anywhere from 170 to 200 pounds kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, and so do we know anything else about this guy?
No, that's all I was given.
Okay. So,
Oh, she says 170 pounds. Thank you, Sally.
okay, we came close, 170 pounds.
Yes, she did.
Okay. Now remember, hearing, okay, goes along with what? Cranial nerves number 7 and 8. Getting,
Yes.
okay, they get squeezed. It could be on one side, not the other side. Doesn't have to be both sides at the same time. Okay, to me, he's probably got osteoporosis of the skull, and he should have a look at the skull and see what the measurements are. Is the skull a 1/4 inch thick like normal? Or is it a 1/2 inch thick? Is it 2 inches thick? Is it 1.5 inches thick? Okay, because when you start losing hearing, especially in one ear, that means that nerve, okay, is being squeezed as it passes from the brain through the skull to the outside. Okay, and so this is something that we need to know. Have somebody else look at those x-rays if he has x-rays and see if there is a little bit. I don't care if it's just a couple of millimeters. Okay,
Right.
it can be pushing on a nerve.
Okay. I'll have them review the MRI.
Yeah, but they need to, in the meantime, they can at 170
70
pounds, yeah, 2 healthy brain and heart packs, get rid of all the bad stuff, 2 healthy brain and heart packs, a full dose twice a day. They need the Ultimate Daily Classic, okay, Ultimate Daily Classic twice a day. I like the Rebound for energy drinks, okay, it has all kinds of great nutrients in it. And it wouldn't hurt to use the CM cream on the neck, behind the skull, behind the ears, on the cheek, between the eye and the ear. Okay.
Okay.
Take a Q-tip, put a little CM cream down in the ear with a Q-tip, and see if that won't help. But this is, the odds are, it's osteoporosis of the skull squeezing those cranial nerves.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And my next question was from Cheryl, and Cheryl has her hand up, so we're going to go to Cheryl. So Cheryl, if you could unmute.
Hi.
Cheryl, can you unmute? All right. Well, while Cheryl's figuring that out, we could go to AJ.
Well, Doc, as you were talking about osteoporosis of the skull, we had a question from, we had a question from Bill who says, well, what do I say to people when I tell them about osteoporosis of the skull and they say to me, well, osteoporosis is a reduction of bone. So how does it squeeze a nerve?
Okay, yes, it's a reduction of bone. So what takes the place of the bone? It's connective tissue. And this is why I came up with this picture, just to answer that question. This book, everybody who sees people live, or even talks to them on the phone, needs to get a couple of copies of this book. It's all in your head. And go to page 6. And you'll see the top skull is a normal skull, it's a 1/4 inch thick. The bottom skull is 1.5 to 2 inches thick. That's not bone. That's scar tissue. That scar tissue is filling up and closing all 12 pairs of tunnels that the 12 pairs of cranial nerves go through. It's closing the spinal cord opening in the back of the skull, where the spinal cord is coming through, and putting pressure on all those nerves. And that's why they have all these symptoms. Okay, you go to page 7, the next page. It shows a picture of the brain and where these 12 pairs of cranial nerves go, what tissues they go to. And then on the next page, it shows there's 12 pairs, there's 12 chapters. There's one chapter for each cranial nerve and tells you what diseases, what symptoms you're going to get when that nerve gets squeezed. Everybody who is seeing live patients needs to have at least one of these books, one in your car, one in your house, one in your workplace, okay, or put it in your briefcase, put one in your briefcase. Everybody in your family needs to have one of these books. You'll add many healthy years to their life, and the quality of their life will go way up, because when you have something going on with the 12 pairs of cranial nerves, you're talking about 50 different diseases here.
Doc, we have smart people who follow you and watch the show. I just want, can we just get a little more specific like you've done in the past? We talked about demineralization and then filling up with this connective scar tissue. Is that kind of an example I kind of use sometimes is a piece of steel is very strong and it's minerals. But if you use wood to be the same strength of that steel, that wood would be a lot thicker. Is that kind of a good analogy of what you're going there with? Is
to have the same strength, the wood would have to be a lot more thick, okay? Yeah, okay. And so you have to appreciate that when you have the skull isn't made for walking on. The skull is made to cover the brain from minor impact and rain and all that kind of stuff. Okay, it's not meant to be whacked in the head with a baseball bat. Okay, but also it requires nutrients to maintain its strength and structure and to do its job, which is to protect the brain and the cranial nerves, the 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and the spinal cord. Okay, and people talk about the brain a lot, but they never talk about the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. I'm the first guy to talk about the 12 pairs of cranial nerves to nutritional groups. They've never heard of such a thing. They just knew there's the brain and the spinal cord. And so it's one of those things where this flip chart was a necessity. This flip chart, and of course, there's a whole like 3-4 pages on Parkinson's disease. And we have all of these CDs and books and things that deal with Parkinson's disease. We can get rid of Parkinson's disease. We can prevent Parkinson's disease. It's not a genetic thing, even though it occurs in your entire family, because everybody's eating grandma's recipes, not getting all the nutrients they need to maintain healthy tissues in the brain and spinal cord and so forth, and also the bones and the skull and vertebrae and so on. This is not complex, but it is, what should I say, very sensitive, just like your car. If you just put water in your gasoline tank, it'll show full on your gauge. It'll show full on your gauge, but how far are you going to go?
not very far.
Yeah, I can't get started. It says I'm full of gasoline there, but I can't get started. Well, somebody put water in your tank instead of gasoline. That's why you can't move. Okay, well, the same thing is true with your brain, your 12 pairs of cranial nerves, your spinal cord. You need all the nutrients to make sure your brain has the access to the outside world. Okay, because it wants information from the outside world to come in through those nerves into the brain. And then the brain wants to be able to send signals out from the brain through the skull to the outside world to help the outside world do. Okay, so again, having done over 30,000 autopsies and looking at the skulls of each one of them, I learned a lot. Most doctors don't look at the skulls, okay, because they have x-rays of the brain, the skull and all that kind of stuff. So they don't want to whack open a brain and all that kind of thing. And so I'm doing all these scientific studies and writing articles and all this kind of stuff. And people are freaking out. Well, Wallach, what do you know about all that? Well, I'm up to my eyeballs here in information, and I can't find it anywhere else. So I'm going to put it into books and CDs and DVDs, and I did. And we started a whole new science with epigenetics. Epigenetics takes a replacement. It's a replacement for genetics. There are no genetically caused diseases. Genetics give you hair color, eye color, skin color, and gender. That's it. That's all that genetics do. Genetics do nothing else.
Yes, Dr. Wallach, and we can't get Cheryl to ask her question. But Ruth Ellen, are you going to bring that in, please? Because we're running short on time.
Cheryl did not put, oh, she did not put her question in the chat. She wanted to ask it herself. And Cheryl, if you can try to unmute again.
All right.
Hello, Cheryl, you're there.
Well, listen, Cheryl's not there. She can
She's there. It's not working for her to unmute.
she can email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com, and we'll try and help her out that way. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Doc, you have any closing words for the folks?
Well, the holidays are coming up, and people want to give gifts of love to their families and friends and church mates and workmates and neighbors. Guess what? Get a hold of these books. It's all in your head. Get a hold of the book Epigenetics. Get a hold of the book Metabolic Syndrome. Get a hold of the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And if you really, really want to sit down with somebody and watch the story, because it's all on the back cover, okay, of this DVD. Okay, it goes along with the book. Okay, goes along with the book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. So everybody needs to get a hold of this. We have 100 copies sitting at Wellness Publications. That's, let's see here, what's.
And you can call them at 800-755-4656.
1-800-755-4656. Okay, and get the book. And you can add 25 to 50 years of people's lives with this information. You can add 25 to 50 years with this information. Doctors cannot do that with drugs.
That's right, Doc. That's why we are here supporting every move you make. And we are committed because all of us have benefited by your research and by your formulations. And we thank you very much. And Ruth Ellen?
We are family. Thank you all. We are family. We are family. We are family. Can't thank you enough for being here. You're there 24/7. Okay. And you've been with me, some of you, many, many years, and some of you many years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. And thank you, AJ. You can carry on and close us out.
All right, everybody. So just a little housekeeping. If you don't have to figure out this health stuff by yourself. If you don't need to go to a website and say, what products do I need to get? If you can have help figuring out what supplements will be best for you and for your budget, reach out and speak to a certified holistic health coach at 855-949-3377 or email questions@dailywithdoc.com. Just want to thank the team who are here on the screen with us. Ruth Ellen Sanchez is the production manager, and Albert and Jeffrey behind him are here all the way from South Africa, making sure that this is a safe space for all of us to participate with. And we have fingers on the bottom of the screen, typing in everything into the chat so that we are able to recap what Dr. Wallach has said and people can know what the protocols are. But again, if you missed something, you can reach out to us at questions@dailywithdoc.com or 855-949-3377. Tonight will be a pharmacist Ben's Bite at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you can tune in, we'd love to have you tune in. And we thank Becca Dukes, who who is on vacation, or excuse me, on a work trip. So her internet signal kind of faded out. And that's what happens when you do these work trips on all these tropical places that have hurricanes coming. So thanks everyone for joining us today on Daily with Doc. Dr. Wallach, you're the man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, AJ. Thank you, everybody. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
God bless you.
Thank you, Doc. Bye for now.
Bye.
Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.